Shut up and sit down.
Good evening, fellow viewers. The soda is cold, the popcorn is hot. Are you ready to see the sexiest man alive? The bearded charmer. It is time to watch the one, the only, the Guru Brando Show!
Hello, welcome to Positively Entertaining Conversations with me, your host, Guru Brando, and sometimes curious guest, Q.
Hey.
We are going to talk today about love, amore, to carry the theme all the way through to Valentine's Day. So today, we're going to talk to Bub about love. Join us. So, Quentin, Q,
Yeah.
Oopsie, tell me what you know about love.
Well, I know that it comes in some different forms. I know that some other culture that I was taught in English class and forgot had different names for it. I believe it was Roman. But anyway, there's like friends, family, and lover, and some other ones I'm probably missing, like pet.
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
What I think of whenever I think of love is lifetime of various emotions.
Oh, great. It's an acronym.
Ah, my life is an acronym. Can't even talk. So if you think about love as a lifetime of various emotions, what can you define something as love, as your love? What can you define as an object of your love?
Would you put a lot of care into maintaining it?
Care. Okay, so you equate care with love. I equate acceptance with love. So if you accept something, then you tend to care about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that goes hand in hand. When do you know you're in trouble and you don't actually love something, but you don't like it at all? So the opposite of love, that word hate. How do you know when it goes from love to hate?
That's a hard question because there's a lot of
Don't
gray
bait.
area.
Gray like you.
It's like when it feels like it's more trouble than what it's worth.
Okay,
So then you finally make the decision, all right, time to toss it out or whatever you do.
Okay, so first you said it feels, and it feels something, right? It feels uncomfortable. It feels exhausting. It feels overwhelming. It feels like you're investing and not getting back, right?
Yeah.
And that's a big thing for you, isn't it? When you love something and you accept it, that's non-conditional, isn't it? When you accept something and you love it, it's totally non-conditional.
Yeah,
But when someone is not giving you enough interest back, would you say that their love is conditional or dependent upon how much interest you give them?
I mean, yeah, it is. But some people might just not like you and not say it, so.
So dependency is really that part for you. You do not like that dependency piece. And something else that you indicated earlier, not on camera, was that the one thing that you dislike the most is when someone makes themselves out to be a victim, right? When they complain and whine and do nothing to change.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that is the person that you really dislike, then the type of person that you like is what?
Someone who, like, says something and actually goes and does it.
An achiever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, very, very quickly those types of people can make pipe dreams seem very real.
Okay. So you like an encourager, too. Not just somebody who meets the goals, but somebody who does it happily. Yeah. Somebody who is like, this is my path, and I'm going to go full steam ahead and jump over all the roadblocks.
Yeah.
So you like somebody that's progressive. All right. So if that's an interest that makes you like someone, because on the other podcast we talked about like and love, and when you have enough interest in something and you like it, then the chances are you're going to care enough to go deeper and find love, right?
Yeah.
That's the premise. Okay, so you're interested in somebody enough to care about them. And that interest lies in the fact that they're an achiever and encouraging. Do you know why you love that type of person?
Because I kind of need it right now.
Because that's something that you lack. So when you're desiring something, you can say, I'm desiring this for a reason, right? I desire to be with this type person because they make me feel good. When somebody's progressive, I feel good. And on the flip side of that, when you're not progressive, you feel bad. Right? So when you're not making choices and when you're not seeing any change, you like to see change. That's what makes you happy. Even though change is scary and you fear it, you fear that, that's not a natural inborn thing. That's something that inexperience tells you. When you're inexperienced in something, you fear it. It's the fear of the unknown. Everyone has that.
Yeah.
So see, inexperience is different than trauma, right? Because if you've experienced trauma surrounding love, then you typically don't want to explore it anymore. You're like, nope, tried that once.
Yeah,
it
never
ended
again.
bad. Never
Never
again. Yeah. But if you are just inexperienced and you haven't had enough process, then you can say, I don't have enough experience yet, but I can plan, right? So you can actually plan to alleviate that feeling that you don't like, that fear of inexperience.
That's how all of society was created.
Exactly. Do you know how you plan for love? Because everybody says, love will find you, don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah. But do you know if you actually plan for love, you can be successful at it?
Yeah, but you just have to plan in the right way. You can't, I know one woman that did a TED Talk where she reverse engineered a dating site and found her perfect partner. And they actually were her perfect partner. But she was a mathematician, and I don't think, a lot of us are mathematicians. But you just have to, from what I understand, it's just, good. Like, when you're out in public, being yourself, wearing what you like, as long as it doesn't cross any boundaries.
So in order to find something of interest, you need to be interesting.
Yeah. People who are interested in, the same kind of things you are will naturally be attracted to you if you express that outwardly, or in physical form.
I have a lot of compliments on my style. Particularly the style like what I'm wearing today, 100% cotton, handmade, good energy type stuff, right? Natural and
That's pretty good.
It's nice stuff. And it feels good and it makes me feel good, And so as long as I feel good, I behave better, right? So wouldn't you say that clothes can also equal confidence, or your hair can equal confidence? Yeah, it's that thing that empowers you as a human. Not as a spiritual being, but as a human with an ego on earth, right?
Yeah.
And we are seeking other humans with like type egos. Well, what happens if you have inexperience, you have fear, and you isolate and avoid experience?
Then, you don't experience anything new, you don't experience anything changed, and you get stuck in your own ways.
Don't you think that's a little bit selfish if you think of it on a grand scale?
Well, yeah,
if you have
that's
a
what
purpose,
being a human is, isn't it?
Well, no. If you have a purpose, if you were put together with anyone, me for instance, you're put here right now in this moment in time because of choices that you've made and choices, outside of your control also, right? You didn't choose to be born, but you chose to survive.
Yeah.
Despite your circumstance, right? So you have chosen to be here, and I have chosen to be here. So what solidifies that choice? What makes you say this was the right choice for my life? How do you decide that? How do you determine which route your life should go?
I don't know. I don't even
Well,
know.
because
You're
think
asking
about
me
it.
this. I don't even know that.
Okay.
I don't.
Well,
Let alone know how to determine it.
if in order to find interesting things to learn about, right? In order to find interesting things, you must be interesting and represent those things. If you're trying to find someone who is like-minded in progress, wouldn't you say that if you got with someone like-minded in progress, you would be equals?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so what do you learn from being equal to the person you're with? Because most people don't think about this. Most people only think that someone should lead and someone should follow. In a relationship, they often equate that. Someone needs to lead, someone needs to follow. But what happens if you totally equate the two? If you equate you and I right now in the same moment, what are we doing? How are we equatable?
I don't know. It sounds like that there'd just be a lot of agreeing, but nothing new being learned.
We're accepting each other's space, right? We're accepting the energy from each other, and we're doing what? Giving perspective and sharing, right? So we're replenishing anything that we're putting out.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you are with someone who is like-minded, it's very easy to just continue that evolution of sharing, right? But if you have somebody who is like-minded but shares different views, so you have like-minded interest, but they're interesting in ways that you're not.
I've been there before.
Right, so what does that give to you in a relationship?
New perspective.
New perspective!
On the other side of the spectrum of the thing that you like.
So, like, I give different perspectives to everybody because I am an anomaly. I am only 5'2", so I am very short. I am very loud. I'm very assertive. So I take up a lot of space, lots of activity with me, lots of things. So you can count on the fact that I am going to command an environment, be big in a room, even though I'm 5 foot or 5'2", right?
Yeah.
You can't really predict that by just seeing me. You see me from a distance and you're like, hey, that's a short, squatty looking dude. Looks like a bruiser.
Bag of donuts.
Bag of donuts, yeah. So, you have these assumptions about people, right? But if you see me wearing something like this, you might look and go, wow, that dude must be single. He can't dress himself. Right? If you value fashion. But what if you value comfort? You would look at me and go, wow, that dude looks comfortable. That is all 100% cotton. I can tell by the way it moves and how it feels. That is my person. But what if they look at you and they say, oh, there's a person, and they just walk by? And they don't identify you as anything or anyone other than a person. What happens in that situation? What are they saying? If someone just walks by you and doesn't even acknowledge your existence, what is that person saying to you? If someone did that to you,
that you don't matter enough for any sort of attention.
Okay, so if they're looking at you as if you don't matter, they feel as though,
which would be technically not looking at you,
then they would feel as though they don't matter. So they acknowledge your existence because they can acknowledge theirs. They know that they're alive.
Yeah.
But they don't go any further, right? They don't want to say, that's a person who's doing things like I'm doing. The most objective thing that you can do is look at someone and decide whether or not that is your person. Because your experiences are totally unique.
Yeah.
And so you can look at me and say, "Oh, that's my person," because that person has experience that I would enjoy having or knowing, right? So
Yeah.
it's sort of like living vicariously sometimes. When you fear something, you always want to find someone who doesn't fear it. Don't you?
Yeah.
Like if you're scared of the dark as a kid, won't
Yeah.
you go get somebody who's not afraid of the dark?
Well, yeah, that's every kid does that.
That's what a life coach does. A life coach
Yes,
helps
but
you get through life when you're afraid or when you're inexperienced or when you've had bad crap happen and you've been misguided. Did you know that? So, one of the things that I coach is relationships and love.
might get a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses in.
Well, maybe. You know, and that's a dig on something there. Do you want to explore that?
Uh,
Hmm?
Jehovah's Witnesses.
What about 'em?
They're kind people, but a lot of them are misguided due to the extreme nature.
Why do you think they're misguided? What gives you the right to declare that they're misguided? I don't think that they're misguided.
No, I don't think the principle is misguided, but I think that a lot of, like, the whole thing about, what was it?
See,
Housing
that's
pedophiles,
why
that's what it was.
that right there
Housing pedophiles.
is why you don't have unconditional love. Because you have judgment. And some judgment is well informed and other is not. Because you have exposure to something that I try to limit. What is that exposure? What do I try to limit that you are boundless on? The interwebs. The interwebs. So I stick to certain things. You know, I'm not a teenager. I don't need to explore, Reddit and all this other crap that, y'all are bombarded with. And it's not your fault. It's your generation. It's your age. It's the age of technology, and you're going to be influenced by sources outside of your control.
I don't browse anything anymore.
Well, no, you don't. But, I mean, you also have influences from people at school, et cetera, et cetera. Things that, right now is an impressionable time for you. It's not as impressionable for me. I've kind of learned some stuff. That's the experience versus inexperience. So, Quentin, have you had love?
Yeah, so far.
Okay. How many times would you say that you have loved a person outside the family?
Twice.
That's a pretty good thing. Because did you know each time you love, it grows. You learn more about it.
Yeah.
And so you are 17 and you have found love twice. And so now when you find love again, you're going to know more things to fan the flames, right?
Yeah.
Because you've already learned about yourself. What have you learned about yourself and love?
Well, that's a hard question, man.
It is. I can tell you I've learned...
I think that requires a little too much thinking.
I have learned
For
that
right now.
love is accepting, and love is kind, and love is patient, and love really is a lifetime of various emotions, because the more experience you have, the more experience you gain, because you are getting more comfortable and more confident each time you find love. Do you think it's possible to love more than one person at the same time?
Yeah.
Tell me how.
Well, maybe it's with people who are indecisive but also have a lot to give. So
Indecisive, but a lot
they have
to
like
give.
two partners and they're like, oh, you know what? Let's try some polygamy here.
Okay. Do you think that polygamy would be something that you would explore?
I don't know.
Well,
I
the
would
fact
have to
that
be
you haven't-
very convinced.
The fact that you haven't put thought into it up to this point probably says that it's not something that you've really been aware could exist for you.
Yeah,
Okay, whereas
never thought about it.
I have always believed in poly relationships. And although I have not had one in 18 years since I've been married to Mom and I are 100% monogamous. We have never dated outside of the relationship, and we are very open with each other, so we don't feel like we lack anything. We have good communication, and typically I just believe that, and it's sad to say, but kind of like on that one show on TLC, they say that, love is meant to multiply, not be divided. And that's what I've always believed. And that's what I'm referencing, is that love grows. The more you experience, the more it grows. Just like any other skill, the more experience you have, the more that skill grows, right? So what do you do when you have a whole lot of skill? Like if you learn really well to cook and you're super skilled in the kitchen, and so you start sharing it with people, right? You start cooking for them.
Yeah.
Right? So here you're cooking and other people see it and other people try it and they get interested. And so then they begin investing in you. Do you just simply cap out and go, oh, I've learned everything I need to know about cooking. Now here's all my recipes, I'm done cooking. Or do you keep doing more and more and more?
You keep doing more and more and more until
because you keep gaining experience.
Or don't want to anymore.
Right. You keep gaining experience until you're satisfied.
Yeah.
So what if love can't be satisfied? What if you simply gain love until you die?
That's an interesting point. What if,
Right. Well, let's play that out. What if you simply gain love until you die? It is your purpose in life to gain and to share love.
Well, I think a lot of people would be surrounding you by the time you are on your deathbed.
Why is that? Do you feel like once you love someone, that's it? You just love them unconditionally and nothing ever changes?
Well, no. More can happen. People who have
Experience
a lot
can
of love
happen.
to give, yeah, and they can.
So if you fall out of love with someone, and love only multiplies each time, it's just like practice, right? Practice means progress, not perfection. So if love can never be fulfilled, and love can never be perfect, and love can never be satisfied, then doesn't that just mean that love can only grow and change?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. So love then becomes energy. And that energy is what we are all based in. We are all based in love and acceptance. And no matter if you're religious or spiritual or what, that speaks to something, because we're all from this same energy that's been around for eternity. It cannot be destroyed. It continues to revolve around and around in cycles of change. So cycles of change is acceptance, and acceptance is love, and love is energy, and energy is life.
Well then.
It's pretty amazing, right? And even my shoes say love. So today is a love day. Quentin, tell me an interesting story about love. Wow me.
That's kind of hard to do, considering you don't care for the things I care for.
Okay, well, tell me about love. Give me some Quentin perspective, some Q perspective. Look, I love my hat. Do you see what it says? It says, best dad ever. Your sister gave it to me. Okay, what?
Oh, look at what you did.
Oopsie poopsie. Anyway, go ahead. Interesting story about love. Go.
Story about love.
It looks like an eyeball. It's a bath bomb. You can get them at www.sgpathways.com. Lovely. Interesting story about love. Come on. 1, 2, 3, go.
That's too general. It's too broad. I can't think of that right now.
Okay, I'll tell you an interesting story about love. Whenever I was pregnant with your sister, I absolutely had this craving beyond comparison of anything in my life, any drug or anything. This craving was simply for strawberry ice cream and sour cream and onion Pringles. I had to have it together. That to me is symbolic of your mom and I. And so whenever I think about stuff that I absolutely love and do not want to replace, like I would never replace that memory because it was heaven to me at that moment. Like it was just perfect. I haven't had it since because it just seems off-putting, but it's just like I loved it in that moment and it served its purpose 100%, right? And then my love branched from that to having sour cream and onion Pringles with sandwiches and loving that. And then having strawberry ice cream with banana split, which that broadened that love growth, right?
Wow. You really are the fat guy. Your analogies
I'm totally
are about
the fat
food.
guy. Oh, you have no idea. So I think about your mom and I that way too. If mom and I didn't change kind of our love, like that, then it would just kind of get crappy and old. So tell me an interesting story.
Is that why the boomers always complain about their wives?
Yes. So tell me an interesting story about something that you used to love that served its purpose that then you grew out of. You grew beyond it.
Okay.
There you go. I just had to get you fired up. Had to light that spark like you tried to light the trash cans on fire in Germany.
Oh, that wasn't even...
And you couldn't even light a match right.
You know what we were doing?
You were so ill-equipped.
You know what we were doing?
I don't want to know.
It was me and Desmond, and we were just standing there, and like, he would light a match, and then we'd get too scared and drop it and stamp it out really fast. And that was literally all we did. That is all we did.
You stamped out match?
That's all we did.
Your Aunt Shannon and I used to...
I'm not even kidding. We were just so dumb.
Your Aunt Shannon and I used to smoke toothpicks. Because Grandma smoked cigarettes, and so we would pretend to smoke those. And that was unforgettable playing with fire and Aunt Shanny. Yeah, that was something. Anyway, interesting story about something that you used to love, served its purpose, and you have outgrown it, moved on. Give me some cringy stuff. Come on.
Some cringy stuff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll start naming stuff. You better come on.
The Xbox was certainly a big one. When you got me that initially,
Which Xbox?
The Xbox 360.
Right, but which one? You had like 2 or 3.
The first time you got me one.
Okay.
The first one.
Okay.
Like, that was, like, for a while, that was the best day of my life, really. It was the Xbox 360, and that's a really sad thing to say.
And how old were you?
8.
8.
I was 8. I actually do remember that.
I was still picking my nose when I was 8. I was not picking up a controller. I don't even think
Look, you were smart
I used
in other
the
ways.
phone. I mean, I was barely calling the operator at that point. I don't know.
But like, it was a lot of years spent playing that, playing on the Xbox. But a lot of good memories had, certainly. A lot of games I look fondly back on, even if they're those crappy Xbox arcade games. And, a lot of friends met, but the most notable of which would be my friend Lewis.
Lewis. You have been friends
Cool
with
Kid
Lewis?
2722. I was such best friends with him. You know what I did?
What?
I changed my gamer tag to Cool Kid 2723.
Wow, inseparable.
That's Yeah, we were.
So is this a love lost?
No, I mean,
Because that was...
I still have him on Steam. I
Okay.
can message him, but I don't know.
It'll never be the way it was.
Yeah,
So what changed? What in the love changed?
time.
Experience?
Time and experience. I guess as you get older, you get less and less time. And like, I remember one time we had a 12-hour-long Skype call. Me and him had literally nothing better to do than to sit in a room and talk for 12 hours long.
Yeah.
Half
And
of that was
sometimes-
actually awake. The other half we were asleep.
You know what? Sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing. Can you identify that as a bad thing or as a good thing at the time?
I mean, it was a good thing. It was
At the
fun.
time, right.
Yeah.
And now that's how you've matured, and your love has grown beyond that, because now y'all can go without talking and then talk again and pick right up. Right?
Yeah.
So your love has grown beyond needing each other in that space, right? That's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
And that's maturity at its best.
I also remember the exact moment that we met. It was in a stupid game of Halo Reach.
Yeah, that is stupid. No.
It was awesome. I kept sniping his Banshee down with a rocket launcher, and he kept getting mad. And I said, "All right, fine, I'll stop it." And then I did it one more time.
Shame on you. Shame on you. But it led to what it is, and y'all are still talking, still friends, and one day maybe you'll meet.
Yeah. I don't know about right now though, because
You realize
the
you
pandemic.
just gave his gamer tag out, right?
Yeah, his Xbox 360 gamer tag that he doesn't use anymore.
Okay. I was like, just saying. Not sure if you
And I
realize
gave mine out too.
Yeah,
but
sure.
not that it matters, because both of our golds are long expired. So it's not
But
we're
you
getting messages.
love PC now.
Yeah.
You don't love Xbox.
And-
Your love has outgrown the Xbox 360 and is now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I still
My
I
love
still love
started with PC. I never got
Um,
into consoles.
Yeah, but I don't like consoles anymore. The only time I'll play them is with other people, and that's kind of how they were meant to be played, really.
You don't say.
And that's their whole market, and and a lot of people like to say, well, PC is better, console's better, blah blah. But they're just comparing apples
Who
to
are
oranges.
these a lot of people? You say a lot of
Really?
people all the time. A lot of people. Yes, I'm one of
There-
those.
I'm
I'm one
telling
of
you,
those-
there's just look it up. You'll see millions of results. There are arguments on forums for decades
On PC
across
versus
every single
360,
social media platform.
Xbox.
Yeah, PC versus console. Every social media platform.
That is
every
important
forum.
stuff to be debating.
It is. That's
Very
a lot of the internet. This
important
petty,
stuff.
trivial
A lot
crap.
of the internet. A lot of. Well, okay. I want to go out on a joke. Do you know any
Oh, yeah?
love jokes?
Any love jokes.
Mhm.
Well, there's that good old fashioned better love story than Twilight. Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Still a better love story than Twilight?
No.
You live under a rock or something?
Yes.
Alright, you're just old. Get on with yours. It's probably better anyway.
I don't have a joke.
Oh, great. Well,
You're the joke.
then mine was better.
You're the
Mine was
joke.
better by default.
You're the joke.
I'm the joke.
You're the joke.
You raised a joke. So
I
are
did
you the
raise a
joke?
joke.
Are you really the joke? At
I
the
guess
end of the
Grandpa
day.
would be the joke at the end of the day, because Grandpa raised me, and Aunt Shanny, and Uncle Wayne, so they're to blame
And who raised
for
him?
this. Wolves. I don't even
It was the
know.
wolves. It's not. That's not even their fault.
I
They're
mean,
animals.
he's 79 years old. He's like, who
79.
did raise? Well, he'll be
Almost
79.
80.
No, he'll be 79 on February 24th.
Almost 80.
I know,
That's
almost
insane.
80.
He's
It
in a
is.
Big 80.
I know. It's amazing, though. I love Grandpa so much. I mean,
And then it'll be easy to remember when he was born.
to have him as a dad throughout my life has really given me the perspective that I have about acceptance and love, because he hadn't always had it, and he is a different person. He's a different grandpa than he was a dad. We talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
That will be a podcast. How different are you as a parent versus a grandparent? And I will have to have a grandparent on for that. But Grandpa already said, no way, no how, he's not coming on camera. I'll get him one day. I will get him. I'll just sneak it on.
Why did he say no?
I don't know, because he's insecure, I think.
Mm.
He's, he suffers from some low self-worth issues, too. A lot of people in his generation do,
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
So, he's a work in progress, but he's a great guy. Looking for love. Apparently in all the wrong places because he does not have a girlfriend yet. So, if you're interested, he's 79, perfectly healthy, very attractive, I look pretty much like him, just a younger version. And, yeah.
And
so
with a little more pounds.
And, ouch. And I'm a bit shorter. Okay, well, now that you've made me feel terrible.
And that was a joker going
Yeah,
on.
that was the joke. I'm really the joke. Thank you, Quentin, for that perspective. Thank you guys for viewing, for contributing, for sharing, for et cetera, everything that y'all do. Thank you. I wouldn't be me without you, and Quentin wouldn't be him without me. So the whole world would be lost, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we'll continue this next week. Y'all be well and take out.